Welcome back to Innovate Direct-to-Film Printing. I'm your host, Madeline Thomas, Head of Content here at the World Textile Information Network. Over the last 2 days, we've had some great sessions on unpicking the DTF market. If you've missed any, you can catch them on demand via the event website. Our next session comes from event partner INKBANK Group, an inkjet ink manufacturer and digital printing solutions provider based in China, the birthplace of direct-to-film printing. INKBANK products include LED UV curing ink, textile pigment ink, sublimation ink, high temperature dispersion ink, reactive dye ink, acid dyes, water-based pigment ink, and water-based dye inks as well. The presentation is pre-recorded, but we will have a live Q&A, so please still submit your questions. So I'd now like to introduce Dr. Frank Ming, who is the Chief Scientist and Vice President at INKBANK. Over to you, Frank. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk about the leadership in DTF technology innovation. I will divide my talk into 3 parts. First, give some introduction about the INKBANK. The second part is on the INKBANK story on the DTF. And then the last part talk about the future development of the DTF. INKBANK basically has been around 20 years. Currently, we have about 30,000 square meters manufacture and R&D area. And our R&D team has about 8 people, engineers, and the current capacity for the production is around 18,000 tons per year. We have 3 facilities, 2 in Zhuhai and 1 in Shenzhen. And we are building a new facilities which will be finished by the end of this year. And we have the ink capacity of 40,000 tons per year after that. We are one of the largest inkjet ink suppliers in the world, and we only supply the inkjet inks. And the bottom of the slide shows the brief highlight history, some of the products we developed or industry we are getting into. And you can see that we really started on the pigment DTF ink, especially water-based pigment inks, back into the 2018 at the very early stages. So we're really one of the beginner inventor of the system with our partners. As I said, that the development team is very important for our development of the company and the product. Our team, as I mentioned, has 8 engineers, and 9 of them have master degrees or above, and 60% of our development team have a bachelor degree. And basically, I think our testing and resources, equipment, as probably as good as most of the large corporations in US and Europe. Some of them probably have even more closer relationship with the printhead manufacturers and also OEM. And we also have a very strong collaboration with the universities, especially China Southern University of Science and Technologies, and then also Guangdong Industrial Universities. We have about more than 41 patents. In the last 20 years, we have accumulated a lot of awards and recognitions. And we are one of the high-tech enterprise in China. And we are also the specialized leader giant enterprise by government recognized. And actually in Guangdong province, we are the only inkjet ink engineer development centers. And also we work with a lot of partners, including printhead, OEM printers, and also the film manufacturers. We are best partner recognized by Epson for a few years. Last year, Ink World magazines ranked all the global major ink suppliers. We are ranked at 28th. And because of the high growth we have had last year, I think this year our ranking will be even better. Our product mostly dominate still the textile applications, but we also have other products. On the textile applications, our dominated product is sublimation inks. We're pretty much one of the leaders in the sublimation, and also have reactive dye and acid dye inks. And for the reactive dye and acid dye inks, basically we also purify our raw materials to get more competitive in the market. I will talk a little bit, I talk in the second part on the DTF. On the pigment inks, we also have major roles on the DTG and roll-to-roll applications, especially last few months, and the roll-to-roll pigment with carousel printing has made major progress in China, especially many multiple paid, a few big customers install a lot of equipment because of the ink price come down dramatically. As I said, we basically focused on almost all inkjet ink application for different industries. And for graphic arts and advertising industry, this is relatively mature in Europe and the US. Actually, in China, it's growing very fast because they are converting from the solvent and the eco-solvent to UV. And then we are one of the leading suppliers in this market. And then for the new applications, such as the label packaging, we basically provide all different chemistries, including UV inks, water-based pigment inks, water-based dye inks. And then for the book printing and also the periodics, and then in US, like direct mails, we have water-based pigment for those kind of applications. For the latest in the electronics part, we basically focus on the PCB application for the white legend and also photo mask, solder mask, and the etch-resistant inks. So this is the first part of on the company introductions. I'm going to move to the second part on the INKBANK story on the DTF technologies. So the DTF basically is invented in China a few years ago, and has major players like printer manufacturers, powder shaker machine manufacturers, DTF powders, and then films and inks. So all of those suppliers basically within Guangdong province and pretty much 1 hour driving distance. And because most of the suppliers are really small, and so they very innovated entrepreneur type. They're willing to do the changes, to do the adjustment, and then have a quick turnaround. So the whole complete industrial supply chain is located in the Guangdong province, and then the partner of collaboration drives the product from very beginning as just a small sample printing to very significant commercialization in the very short time. Basically, in other countries or other regions, no place really can come to this kind of complete supply chain collaborations. So that's part of the reason the technology is commercialized, scaled up so quickly. The DTF technology has a lot of advantages compared to traditional screen printings. This could potentially already has a huge impact on the screen printing already. Definitely has some impact on the DTG too. And here I highlighted a few basically advantages. And because of the systems and the supplies originally started in China, So everything's made in China. The quantity and then the performance and then the cost are pretty much very competitive. So the machines and the consumables are also basically originally adapted in Chinese market, are very, very affordable. And also you don't need a very big area. You only need a small working area. People starting to serve the customers. Because it's digital, so the digital advantage compared to the traditional printing is fast fashion and customizations. So you get a very good short turnaround, and then you get a customization, personal design, and then you don't you don't need the inventories. So that's another advantage. Compared to the traditional screen printings, you don't need a stack of screens, and also you don't have the dirty color kitchens, less environmental friendly conditions, people willing to work. And then, so basically this technology is digital, and also the energy consumption, water consumption is also very low compared to traditional technologies. So INKBANK basically, as we continue always improving our product line, we started Chinese market with our customers initially, basically working with film manufacturers, printer manufacturers, and TPU powder suppliers to really at the beginning to serve the local market, especially in Guangdong area. And then after this market quickly adopted by the customers and then scale up, the technology starting to expand to move to the developing countries like Southeast Asia, India. However, expand to those markets even more cost sensitive. And then so we have to adapt local customer demand and then to keeping improve, develop the new chemistry, including the resins, dispersions, and then to meet the cost need of those regions' customers. After the international expansion in the developing countries and the US and Europe, and then starting to get on track to adopt these technologies. And so basically right now, since last couple of years, basically traditionally dominate DTG technology in US and Europe, gradually moving into the DTF. And then we see the huge growth and also the brand recognition by this market. So I talk, these slides that highlight some of the major features and of our product on the TP5600, because this set of ink has been widely approved, tested by different markets. Basically, this product now, we have developed the very proprietary pigment dispersions and also working with partners on the proprietary resins. So the unique major component impact the performance. And especially on the white, the product has a relatively very slow sedimentation rate compared to some product. And also the product, the white, has a very good hiding power, and also basically the whiteness. It's good, it has good compatibility with the color inks, so you don't have the bleeding each other. And also regarding the printhead jetabilities, we have many different OEM printers, domestically, internationally, tested with different, basically the control board and the design use I-3000 Epson printhead. So it's pretty much the product is almost for Epson printhead, I-3200 is a standard. And then the printed product also has a very good fastness, like dry fastness, wet fastness, wash fastness, and then the hand, and then the stretchability is also pretty unique. And also, as I mentioned, because of most of the film manufacturers in China are relatively small, all of them have different, they have their own different chemistry on the coating and also the process. So the ink compatibility with the film is also very important. So the inkjet has very good compatibility with the different type of the films. And this slide highlights the comparison, the few features compared to some of the competitive products. As I mentioned, basically the stability of the, especially on the white inks, and also the film compatibilities, and then the elongation, stretchability, and also color vibrance, and wash fastness. All those features, the product shows significantly better advantage compared to the competitions. Basically, this summarizes, this is the end of my second part on the story, how the INKBANK think about the DTF technology until now. And then the next part, I will talk about the future development of the DTF technology. So in the future, there is always the requirement to get better white. One of the reasons is that because the white tends to sediment. However, in the market, basically, recently, people are promoting low sedimentation white inks. So is this really true? The answer definitely is no. Because the titanium dioxide of the white pigment has a high densities, compared to the water. And also particle size is higher than the color inks, typically around less than 200 nanometers. And then your ink viscosity is relatively low. So intrinsically, the pigment will sediment with the time, and then just the speed. And then so is there when we can control the sedimentation rate? Yes, because of the sedimentation of the titanium dioxide can be designed or improved by designing the different dispersants and also the dispersant interaction with the resin. So basically by designing the resin chemistry, dispersant chemistry, we can improve the sedimentation rate. And also, if we can use different type of printer, with, for example, high viscosity Rico printer, and then the chemistry could be also improved, and then you can have a slower sedimentation rate. And also definitely, you don't want to have too much buildup of the white pigment on the bottom. You can use less of pigment, but that will impact your colors. And also another aspect is that we can design the dispersant chemistry to really help the redispersibility of the pigment. And then that's called basically the soft sedimentation. So we really, once is the soft sedimentation, after you shake it, the ink can be reused. The next is that we know the jetable adhesives, because the TPU bound powders right now is well used basically adhesives to bind the ink to the fabric. The powder basically has some issues. So one of the major issues compared to the DTG really is basically you get a relatively rigid and then less hand. And another aspect of powder is that the potential is airborne and then cause some hazardous issues. And then basically the powdering shaker process, it is also intricate. So if we can develop the jetable adhesive to replace this, and then that's another major breakthrough. We have been working with different resin suppliers, and then to come with some improvement, and then some jetable adhesives to replace the TPU powders. And for some low-end applications, the wash or rub fastness, especially wet, if it's not very high demand, and then those applications are ready for the product. However, for the mainstream, we still need a bigger, more breakthrough on the resin technology to get the basically jetable for adhesives completely commercialization. Another aspect for the from environmental aspect is the PET films. And basically, a coated PET film has very good performance to receipt the inks. The only major problem is the environmental recyclable. The plastics, especially in Europe, and compared to the paper, is definitely less environmental friendly. So we have been working with different paper suppliers, even since beginning of the technologies. And we do find that for some special applications, the coated paper has good quantities, can meet some of the applications. However, as the paper currently available coated, the still has wrinkle issues and crackling issues. And those kind of issues, especially for high ink loading, still need to be resolved. So basically, for the real mainstream application, use paper, and we need a breakthrough on some of the design on the coating or the paper substrate, or maybe combination with the ink. And then if we can use the paper, not only for environment more friendly, and also cost could be significantly lower too. Another advantage for DTF is compared to DTG is really can print on the pony shirt. However, for the white pony shirt, the DTF is no issues because you don't have dye migrations. For the black pony shirt, the dispersed dye during the heating process, and then they will migrate, will impact the print quantities. So basically, we have been working with the TPU powder suppliers to develop the new powders, and then to basically can inhibit the dispersed dye migration during the heating process, improve the quantities. So we have some initial sampling, and then some small customers, special customers use those kind of product for the black pony application, see some advantages, some improvement. However, for the widespread mainstream application, we still need more development work. This slide shows some progress made use different printing system, basically a printhead. And as most people know that Brother and Ricoh both make DTG systems. And right now they are also moving into the basically DTF. And they showed their system in a couple of conventions. And for the Ricoh printhead, especially because they can use very high viscosities, those kind of printhead potentially have an advantage on the performance improvement for the ink and also prints. However, the cost of the printhead itself is higher than the Epson. So really, we need to wait and see how those new printhead come into the market, how those impact the future of the technologies. The last slides I will share here is that really new applications. Currently, basically DTF technology really is focused on the t-shirt, almost probably 99% or higher or 100% sometimes is a t-shirt application. And just like sublimation inks, the transfer process, this kind of technologies generally have much wider implications. So their application not just the t-shirt, they should have on others. Actually, we already have a few special application with our customers, especially for the like shoes, and then some of the application. One example is for the clothing, there is a small strips tag. Those tag, if you can need a very small font, laser basically font later print. If we can design a single pass printers, and then those kind of application can be easily solved. Here is basically right now, that's all my talk. If you have any question, feel free to cast. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, for that presentation. So we'll now go to the live Q&A. So Frank, if you'd like to join us.
Sure.
Great. Nice to see you, Frank. So we have had some audience questions come through, and one of them, and it goes nicely into the end of your presentation, really, on your future developments at INKBANK. The new printhead system that you're working on, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because we've had an audience question that has asked, are you testing at the moment on other printheads other than Epson heads? You know, Epson heads, I think we heard in the last session actually that they have been the most popular for direct-to-film printing up to now. Are you testing on other heads, or is it because you're developing this new printhead system? Are you looking to bring something else onto the market?
Yes, we have been working with different printhead suppliers and OEMs to test other high viscosity printer, and those have not been commercialized, especially for like jetboard adhesives and for the some of the even paper applications combined with the high viscosity printhead could be one of the major direction for the breakthrough. So we have been working with the high viscosity different suppliers printhead.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we've got another question as well on, is your ink EG free? So is your ink ethylene glycol free?
For some of them, yes. Yeah, for the TP5600, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And are there any improvements needed in the CMYK pigment dispersion technology, apart from dispersions for white inks?
CMYK, I think the pigment dispersions are relatively mature, so we don't think there is a major improvement needed for those areas. I think the focus is really on the white and also for different regions on the resins, because especially for some developing countries, the resin is still one of the cost and also the performance issues.
Right, I see. And with the, we've had a lot of discussions over the last 2 days about environmental credentials. Is this something at INKBANK that you're kind of looking into? Do you have this already? How important is this, if you want to work with, brands and retailers?
Yes, environmental definitely is always our big concern when we work on the project. For example, like the TPU powders with the jetboard adhesives, and then use coated paper replace the TPU films and PET films, and all those definitely from the environmental and definitely coated paper also on the cost side, more widely used. So I think from the even the like humectants used for the basically in the ink, so those factors definitely come from the environmental aspect.
Okay. And just mention the TPU powder then. What is your timeline for the TPU powder on black polyester that you're developing?
That's a good question. I would say really it depends on the I would say probably 1 or 2 years, and then depends on how the market pushing for it. It's currently the TPU powders, most of the Chinese suppliers are relatively small, and there are less incentives. But I think there are some European big suppliers maybe work with in the on the technology side.
Oh, Frank, you're just breaking up a little bit there. If you don't mind, maybe just turn your camera off and answer that question again, if that's okay.
Maybe I turn off the video to yeah.
Yeah, great,
Okay.
thank you.
Sorry. What I'm saying is that
I think we've lost you there, Frank.
To the basically the US TPU.
Yeah, Frank, I think we've lost you again there. I think your connection has gone down. Let's try again. So what's your timeline for the TPU powder? Yeah, no, we've lost you. Okay, well, no, we'll just try and get Frank back. But otherwise we'll end the session there, and we can send over any of your questions to Frank to get answers back to you. So if you just bear with us a second. Hi again, Frank.
Oh, okay.
How's your connection doing? Yeah, I think we've lost you again. So what we'll do is we'll yeah, I think we've lost you, Frank. So we'll end the session there, and we'll send any questions over that have been missed. So thank you, Frank, for your time, and sorry everyone to close that session slightly early, but thank you to our audience. Join us at 4 p.m. UTC for our final session of Innovate Direct-to-Film Printing, where we'll be hearing from those actually using the technology on a daily basis, the print service providers. We'll see you then.